wake up, hit snooze 5 times, scroll on Instagram while you're laying in bed, make coffee, drive to work and sit in traffic, then sit in a gray cubicle box and do 8 hours of unfulfilling work. Sit in traffic again, maybe argue with your significant other, watch Netflix or some kind of TV, brush your teeth, pass out, and then do it all again the next day. Most people are sleepwalking through life, and this is the sad reality that they live each and every day. And look, I'll be honest, this was me. I felt like there was no point of existing. Every day just felt so meaningless. I tried to be as productive as I possibly can. I was listening to audiobooks on my car, driving to work, sitting in traffic. I was trying to work on weekends, working before work, working after work. I was doing everything I possibly could, but it still felt like I was spinning my wheels and going nowhere. But in all of this meaninglessness, what I realized was I'm already at my personal worst case scenario. Everything felt so pointless, so I had nothing to lose. Like my worst case scenario is I would already live in my mom's basement, working some job I didn't like, and that gave me so much freedom. Even if there was a glimmer of hope that doing all these cold calls and sending all these messages was actually going to work, then I would go all in. Everyone around me thought I was absolutely crazy because I was quitting this comfortable job. In fact, it was a decent paying job. I left because I knew there was more to this. Henry Thoreau said the mass of men live lives of quiet desperation. And this hit me deep. I'd walk around my cubicle and look at everyone's faces and look at how fucking miserable everyone was. And I realized I didn't want that to be me. And now was my chance. Now was my shot to go out and actually try to fucking do something. And you might even be thinking, well, my situation is different. I don't have this job, or I'm too young, or I'm too old, or I'm just getting started, or I don't have this level of experience. And all of that, honestly, are excuses. Because if you think that life is going to get easier as you move on, as you get older, if you really think you're going to get less responsibilities as you age, then you are in for a rude awakening. Look at your parents, look at your cousins, look at your family members, your coworkers. Do their lives get easier or more complicated as they age? And the crazy part about all of this is you don't even need that much freaking money. Like if you make $5K a month, you make $10K a month, and you are free, I would argue that you're in a much better position than the guy on Wall Street in New York City making $1 million a year, but he's working 100 hours a week. He hates his life. He hates his family and who he's around. He's drinking, he's doing drugs, and he's being a complete degenerate, and that's all he does for fun. He's locked in. He has to keep working that job to pay for now his expensive lifestyle, his suits, his watches, his cars, but he has no time freedom. I would argue if you can get to 5K a month, 10K a month profit, and you're genuinely in your gut proud of this business that you built, you could travel, you can do what you want. You are far richer than this person that is making way more money than you. You have way more freedom than they ever will. And I don't care what religion you believe in or what you think happens after you die. I don't know. I've never been there. But it is irrefutable that you should be living your best life. I think we could all agree on this. And best life doesn't mean go out and maybe have all these crazy adventures. Maybe you want to give back. Maybe you want to spend more time with your family, with your kids. Maybe you want to spend more time learning. Maybe you want to spend your time building a foundation. Maybe you want to spend your time donating. That's up to you to decide. But you can't maximize and live those dreams if you're stuck. If you're stuck and you're too scared to take a fucking risk. Honestly, all of it is a risk. You just sitting in a job you hate is the biggest risk of all. If you live a comfortable life, you are at risk of waking up in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, if you're still working, and never actually having achieved the dreams that you once set out for yourself. Think about that pain that you're going to get waking up one day, realizing you have nothing. You don't have the time freedom. If you have kids, you can't spend time with them. You have to miss their games. If you want to help someone, you can't because you don't have the money. And by the way, just because you make a lot of money doesn't necessarily even mean that you're free. I've seen entrepreneurs be complete slaves to their business, to their employees, to their hobbies. I remember at one of my old jobs, the owner of the company, it was a dental marketing company, and we were partnered with a dental lab next to us. And this dental lab, he owned it, and he also owned a dentistry. And he pulled up, and he had multiple luxury cars. He had Ferraris, he had Maseratis. This guy was the richest guy that I have seen. And by the way, I've never even stood that close to a luxury car. So I parked my car a couple slots next to his, and I walk into work knowing that he's there. This is the very first time that I met him. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy is going to be such a big inspiration. This guy has things that he can teach me. Maybe if I get on his good side, maybe he'll be my mentor. He's the only guy I've ever really seen that has this level of money. And I get there and I meet him and I shake his hand. He seemed nice. He smiles. And as he starts talking, I start listening and I start trying to pick up information. I'm thinking he's going to share some kind of golden nuggets. I want to see how he speaks. I want to see how he moves. I want to see what I can learn just by being next to him, just by subconsciously. I want to see maybe I'll pick up some nuggets on how he sells, or maybe on his charisma, or how he treats his employees, or just on team building. Maybe I'll learn something from him. And I always have come at these type of situations and conversations with an open mind, because I'm here to learn. And I'm in my early 20s at this point. But as I sit down and as I watch him speak to his employees, what I realize is this guy was being an asshole to everyone. Now, maybe he was just having a bad day, but this hit me hard because I had this standard of who he was that was up here. And I thought he was going to be this inspirational person, motivating people. But instead, he was talking down to people. He seemed miserable. And this was a common pattern as I kept seeing him throughout the offices anytime he would come in. He always seemed like he was in a bad mood. And one time, I went to a dental conference. I was part of this marketing agency. We went to this dental conference, and this guy who was married, mind you, he had kids. He had a family. He had dogs. And we went to this dental conference, and he had escorts around him. This guy hired girls to be with him, and he was cheating on his wife. He was cheating on his family with these girls that were there. Now, this guy worked nonstop. He was an absolute work machine. But anyone would be able to tell you that this isn't a happy guy. He doesn't look fulfilled. He doesn't even necessarily look proud of what he's done. He's just working, he's grinding, he's going through the motions. And just because he has a lot of money, multiple properties, multiple successful businesses, would you trade places with this guy? Doesn't have his health. He has his wealth. Doesn't have happiness. He doesn't seem fulfilled. He doesn't even seem proud of what he's doing anymore. He gets his dopamine and he gets his excitement from cheating on his wife. And that's his life. That was one of the core moments that made me understand that these successful people that you meet, a lot of them you don't want to trade places with. And that's the ultimate test that you want to have when you're looking for a mentor or when you're looking up to someone. Would you actually trade places with this person? Do you want their life? Be careful who you ask questions to. Be careful who you go to for advice. Now, I'm sure if I asked him for some business advice, he'd be able to give me some good nuggets. But I wouldn't want to trade places with this guy. And if you can grow a small business to $10,000 a month, you can live anywhere in the world you want. If you're proud and you like what you do, and you're genuinely excited and have a little bit of passion about your business. And by the way, the passion comes after you start seeing success. I didn't have passion for anything when I was cold calling. Dude, I was just broke. I wanted to make some money. But once I was making $4 or $5K a month, and I started traveling in 2019, living out of Airbnbs, living on the beach, and I escaped a cold climate, moved out of New York, moved down south, that's when I started feeling happiness. And then I was proud of my business. I got excited to talk to my clients. I got excited to do sales calls. It became fun as I started getting better at this thing. For years, 3 years, it wasn't fun. I was grinding. I was doing my best listening to audiobooks. I was doing my best. I was reading. I was spending all my free time doing this shit, trying to work on this. But when it paid off, It paid off big. Don't optimize your life to be an entrepreneur. Don't optimize your life to be at $100K a month or $500K a month or $1 million a month. You might not even want that. Do you want the headache of hundreds of employees? Do you want the pressure coming down on you? Or do you just want to make a good income, 10K, 20K, 30K a month? Travel, do it on your own time? Don't have insane amount of responsibility? Imagine hiring a builder to build you your dream house. When he gets to your house and you ask him, what are you passionate about? Is he going to tell you that, oh, he just loves swinging a hammer and he loves just hitting nails? No, he's going to tell you he's optimizing for the whole. He's optimizing for the house. He's in this because he wants you to get this dream home that you envision. He's passionate about providing this as a service. Maybe he's passionate about building this as a business. But he's not passionate about swinging the hammer every single day. And the same thing for you. All of these tools, the DMs, the cold calls, the GoHighLevel automations, these are tools. You don't have to get obsessed and be passionate about each and every little thing. Zoom out a little bit. Get passionate about the business that you're building. Don't optimize to be an entrepreneur. Optimize to build your dream life. And the entrepreneurship, the business, this is a tool to get you to where you want to go. If you focus too much on money, you'll be at risk at one of these guys who spends their whole youth trying to gain wealth. And then at some point in your life, you're going to have a middle point. And it's going to switch. You'll get the money. You'll get the money. If you focus on it, you will get the money. But once it switches, you're going to spend all of your wealth trying to get back your health. And that's the sad reality of being obsessed into one thing. So many of these people, they forget about their social life, about their health, about fitness, about their relationships. They don't think bigger picture. They don't have any other hobbies besides just making fucking money. I'm not jealous of any one of them. Any one of these people, I am not jealous of. I used to see people with big houses and big cars and say, oh, that's going to be me, or, oh, I want that. Until I started meeting these people. It's funny, they say don't meet your heroes. Because I met them, and most of the time I became disappointed. When I moved to Vegas and I met all these rich people, I was fucking disappointed. Then when I moved and I started networking with agency owners and these guys that you see on YouTube, by the way, I met a lot of these guys making $100K a month, $200K a month, whatever. I was fucking disappointed. You need to buy back your freedom as soon as you can. Because that's what you're working towards. You think you're working towards 5K a month, 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month, but you're not. You're not. You're working to buy back your freedom. You're working to have options. You are working to create a life of abundance to where you can actually do what you want. In a way, you are escaping slavery. You are escaping doing things you don't want to do, wearing what you don't want to wear. That is the first phase. Whether you want to go beyond and be a high-level entrepreneur, that's up to you to decide. Get to phase 1 first. Figure out the rest later. The goal for you is to lay on your deathbed and be proud of what you've done, to be proud of your life, to be proud that you went all in. Not that you gave up, not that you once had a dream, you once had a goal, and then you let it go because it got hard. Stop delaying everything for tomorrow. It's not going to get easy tomorrow. It's not going to get easy next week. It's not going to get easier next month. Start today.